Live, 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 live. We're live. I'm live. I'm live solo today because I'm well caffeinated. Highly caffeinated, guys. And man, it's been incredibly busy. But can't complain. You know, I noticed that human beings, we complain when things are bad. Let's say this was 2008. I remember when every study that I had in 2008 as a site owner was getting canceled, and because of the Great Recession. And I remember many CRAs who would come to my site, and this was before YouTube. Many CRAs that would come to my site were getting laid off, and these were like experienced CRAs. So it's natural to complain during those times. But what's crazy to me, and I do it myself, is we complain when things are good. We complain when things are too busy. We're living in an excess period right now, a surplus of clinical research opportunities. And I have to remind myself just about every single day that this is the good kind of complaining. Complaining's never good, but this is like complaining because things are going so well, and it could easily be the opposite, which I got to keep in mind. So every time I catch myself complaining, I say, look, just be grateful that you're in an industry like clinical research, and there's just like an abundance right now, overabundance. Now, that doesn't mean it's going to be easy for you if you're not in the industry yet. It just means the odds are a little more in your favor if you do tweak your background, your experience a bit, to gain some internship experience, to gain some experience maybe from one of our academies, to put yourself in a position to succeed. Because no matter how good the times are and how overabundance of opportunities there are, if you don't have research experience, you're not going to do well. You have to put yourself in the position to succeed. So, hello, let's do some shout outs. Ask me questions, guys. I've got tons from the grab bag. Let me open up my LinkedIn messages. LinkedIn's been insane amount of questions. I'm watching, for those watching in the future, welcome. I'm watching the Suns Bucks game 4. It's halftime, 52-52. And then let's go through the Dr. Sabrina Jasmine Arai. Greeting from Japan. Welcome. Thank you so much. Nice to see you. Lawrence Mata Palencia. Greetings from Venezuela. Wow. Welcome. Well, love. South America. My South America researchers. We have an entire group, entire brand dedicated to you with Latinos in clinical research. And then we've got LinkedIn user, happy belated birthday, thank you. 40, one of the people commented, shout out to 2 Minute School. One of the people commented on my video where I turned 40. They said life begins at 40. So that actually made me feel good. I don't feel any different than I did when I was 30. If anything, I probably feel better because I was a little bit more overweight when I was 30 and late 20s. I was just kind of getting carried away with what I was eating. So I've learned how to tweak my body. I've learned how to do keto occasionally when I need to lose weight. I learned how to incorporate intermittent fasting. And then I've got the Peloton bike, which makes me a little more compliant with my workouts. And then I forced myself. I got 2 dogs. They're running around here somewhere. 2 big dogs that require walks. So do 3 walks a day. So yeah, whatever. Enough about me. Which certification would you recommend for a research nurse? Well, if you're already a research nurse, I don't recommend any certifications. I mean, it depends on what you're trying to do. but you're already in the industry and you're a nurse, so you're already going to be in high demand. If you're talking about ACRP or SOCRA, what I recommend, I guess I would recommend ACRP if I'm leaning towards one. I mean, I guess they're both good, but ACRP seems to be a bigger organization. Whatever. I'm not like a huge fan of either one. I think they're great, but I'm not really involved. I have nothing to do with those two organizations, but ACRP certifications seem to be recognized in the industry. Those are like the only ones that and SOCR are like the only certifications that are recognized in the industry. Private companies like mine and like some of our competitors, we do CRA Academy, CRC Academy. We give certifications as well, but where they're not so much recognized like for the course itself. Our programs are recognized for the real world internship experience that you get. Our students work on real studies. In our CRA Academy, it's a breast cancer study right now. It's real. I don't care how many letters you put behind your certification and how many accreditations you have, you can't replicate the study that we have for our interns. This breast cancer study, immunotherapy for breast cancer. It's a really important study, actually. We lucked into getting it because we have a CRO as well, which is what separates us from the competitors, is the fact that we're not an academy first. We are researchers first. We're practitioners who happen to have an academy as well. So let me know, Habeshama. Thank you for watching on YouTube. I forgot to ask. If I don't ask, people don't do it. I don't know. I see no likes right now. I gotta ask, guys. Thank you so much for being with me. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with me right now. It really means a lot to me. You could be watching the NBA Finals, although right now you're not missing out on much because it's halftime. But you could be doing anything, and it means the world to me that you're here. Make sure you subscribe, like, comment, and share. Okay, please, please, please. Those things really help the algorithm a lot. It helps the discovery. It helps other people like you who may be curious about learning about research find it. It shows up in their suggested feeds. So please subscribe, like, comment, and share. What else? Let's go through some of these questions. You guys put your questions here too. And then we're going to get into Tim Ballin 45's questions. Put in your questions. I also have some from the grab bag that I can refer to. Sup, Dan? Any suggestions? Told you guys I had too much caffeine today. I'm jumping the gun on everything. Any suggestions on negotiating a budget that is incredibly low, especially from a top sponsor? Getting pushback from CRO. Ask for the sponsor to review budget instead. You can. That's a last resort. What I would do is, I'm assuming you've done this already. You should deconstruct the budget into every assessment. And when you say it's incredibly low, I'm assuming you've broken down the assessments, and most of the assessments are falling well short of what you typically get. And you could let them know that. The experience sites, I know, they keep a cheat sheet of fair market value, and then also another that's for themselves to know, like, hey, this is like industry standard. But then they keep their own cheat sheet for what they've been able to negotiate for themselves in the past. So I think if you haven't done that yet, you should do that. And the last resort should be contacting the sponsor. These are tough ones because Chris, who negotiates our budgets now for our site services with DSCS, he actually deals with the budgets now on a daily basis. I used to deal with budgets, but what I'm hearing from Chris is that the delta, so the difference between the original budget and the completed negotiated budget is smaller now than it's ever been. And he thinks it's because the sponsors are starting to get a little bit more fair. But at the other side of the extreme, and it typically is the top sponsors doing this, uh, they are not breaking down the things into assessments, and they are really giving like lowball offers. But it's like everything else, it's supply and demand. If it's an easy study to enroll patients for, they're not going to pay a lot for it. If it's a difficult study to enroll patients for, they're going to be willing to pay more for it. Why? Because there's more sites that are able to recruit for the easier to enroll studies than there are the more difficult to enroll studies. So ask the sponsor to review it as your last resort. Usually you could try to work it out with the sponsor or with the CRO. Any suggestions on expanding my knowledge on regulatory work? Yeah. We have webinars on my YouTube channel all about regulatory. I think we have like two-hour videos on regulatory on my channel. Also, the book, The Comprehensive Guide to Clinical Research, it gives an overview on regulatory. An entire chapter of that book is about regulatory. And so then you could dig deep on all these forms and on all these things that like regulations that sponsors and regulators require. 2-minute school. You missed out your shout out. We gave you a shout out. Life begins at 40. Thank you so much. Naomi, thank you so much, Naomi, for the very nice LinkedIn birthday shout out. Very thoughtful. I really appreciate that. It's always nice to see that. And also everyone commenting on that thread. Thank you guys. You know, the big 4-0. The big 4-0. Naomi says, what sources could be used to learn more about budget negotiation? That's one where, Naomi, where there's not a lot of information. That's one where sites typically don't like to share. Matter of fact, Rod Raphael, who just joined, he has a Clubhouse, or I don't know, Rod, let me know. You still have the Clubhouse where sites kind of talk about these kind of things like budgets? We have a couple of webinars on my YouTube channel. So I have a tab on my YouTube channel called webinars. If you click on that, it'll open up a playlist. You can find, we did like a couple of budget ones. So you could probably find like 3 hours or so of budget talk. Other than that, to be honest with you, Naomi, and I know people hate the answer like, oh, we don't want to let you know where to go because they're competitors. I honestly don't know of any sources that teach you about budgets, like that teach you the reality of budgets, not the idealistic budgets, you know, not the educational, this is a contract, this is a budget. I'm talking about like hands in the dirt, Rod Raphael, you know, big 40 type of stuff. You don't really get that. This is why we have DSCS. We have clients who pay us, you know, a monthly fee, not only to get them studies, but to do the budgets for them. So we have a few webinars on that, but honestly, there's not much in the industry around that. Thank you, Naomi. Naomi says, I miss Clubhouse. Maybe you can ask Rod really nicely. There's Rod. Rod, can you bring back Clubhouse? I know Marjorie has Clubhouse on Monday nights, keeping it real in research with Topaz Research. Shout out to Marjorie. How can a clinical nurse break into the industry of research? Also, what will be a better transition, research nurse or research coordinator? It depends, BB. But I see you're an RN BSN. RN BSNs make excellent CRAs. Excellent CRAs. In our CRA Academy, we have every quarter at the CRA Academy, we have 15 students. And every quarter, we have at least 1 or 2 RN BSNs that join our course. On average, the RN BSNs are more likely to get hired quicker, and on average, the RN BSNs are more likely to become CRAs as their first job. So that's what I think about that. I will call. Let's see here. What do we got? So I think for an RN BSN, I don't think you necessarily need to go the coordinator route unless that's something you really want to do. Maybe you want to be a site owner one day. I think what I typically see, BB, is people, and you would be perfect for the CRA Academy because you would get the internship experience as well. And once you add that breast cancer study to your experience, right, everybody's going to want you now. Maybe not as a CRA, even though as an RN, you have a better chance than most people with a little bit of experience to get hired as a CRA. But maybe you could be remote site monitor first and then quickly be a CRA because you have that RN and BSN. It's hard to teach clinical. It's not hard to teach research. There is a steep learning curve, but it's not hard to teach research. It's hard to teach clinical. So that's my thoughts on that. Rod says Clubhouse may be back. Highly recommended. Let's see here. Hey, Dan, if you already have experience as a CRA and decide to go for the certification, what percentage do you think this will impact in a raise in your salary? That's a tough one, Susan. I think if you become ACRP or whatever, SOCRA certified, I don't know if it will necessarily change an increase in your salary. I know that it will increase your odds of finding jobs should the clinical research industry take a turn for the worse. I think what gets you paid more salary is doing more. As a CRA, being a generalist, increasing your skill set, increasing your therapeutic expertise. So, for example, if you've been CNS and then you want to do oncology, like now you have CNS and oncology experience, and then just keep leveling up that way. I think that has a much more of a greater impact than a raise on your salary. However, I do think if the industry ever takes a turn for the worse, you have those 4 letters behind your name. I think it helps you get a job compared to the competition. So that's my thoughts. Let me know if I'm wrong, guys. Rod says 100. SOCRA versus ACRP. Rod, I suggested ACRP, although I think they're both good, and I don't really care much for any of them. I have nothing bad to say about either one of them, nor do I have much good to say about them. I think they've been around so long, the industry's adopted them. I don't think they necessarily do anything special. Just my opinion. I'll probably get a lot of hate for that, but that's my opinion. I've been part of the ACRP chapters, at least the ones in my area. They're not that good. And then I've heard from others that, it just depends on your local chapter. As far as networking and things like that. These days you have LinkedIn, and you have things like Latinos in clinical research, and you have things like Black women in clinical research, which I think do much more for the people, the individuals, than these organizations. First of all, I'll speak for ours, Latinos in clinical research. First of all ethnicities welcome. It's not just for Latinos. Like half of our people who join our Zoom calls are not Latino, but they still network. They still get the benefits of networking with everybody on there, learning about the different things we have. We have Tech Week, Tech Month this month. We have virtual job fairs. All that stuff is free to our community. We don't plan on charging our community. Maybe if you want to buy a T-shirt or a mask, like Naomi has a T-shirt there, but we don't tell you, hey, you have to buy a shirt to be a member. Like, you just go to latinosinclinicalresearch.com, put your email in there, you get notified of all the Zoom meetups. SOCR and ACRP do this, but they charge you to be a member, right? They don't necessarily charge you for the networking, but they charge you to be a member. And I think that's like old school. I think that's like pre-internet. And if you look at SOCR and ACRP, they haven't really, and maybe I'm wrong, but I don't really follow them. They haven't really adopted themselves for a digital world. And their business model is still strongly based on monetizing the end user, you, right? With Latinos in Clinical Research, our business model is based on monetizing sponsors for access to our members. Very different. It's like flipped upside down the business model. Tamila, hey, Russian over here. All right. You're Russian? That's awesome. One of my good friends is Russian. Igor Kaspin. Shout out to Igor Kaspin. He's a stock trader, and he always tells me which biotechs he would like me to review. He's an very interesting dude, but he's a good friend, and he's a Russian. Bodhi, get it? When you have dogs, okay, you got to watch what they're doing, especially when they're puppies. All right, guys. So, keep the questions coming. Let's go. Keep the likes going. Come on, let's go. Keep the shares. I know you. I'm talking to you right there. You have not shared this video. I need you to share this video. And now I'm talking to you. You haven't liked this video. And you haven't subscribed. So make sure you do that. You don't want to miss out. And then most likely all of you are not subscribed to LatinosInClinicalResearch.com. You're missing out. That's all I got to say. Okay, so put the questions, guys. Put the questions in the comments below. I got one from LinkedIn today. If you are conducting a phase 4 post-marketing clinical study with an FDA-approved drug, one of your sites that participated in the phase 3 study for the investigational drug feels that they don't need to redo the site initiation visit since the last study ended less than 6 months ago. Whether the site would be exempt from the SIV with references to drug accountability, IRB approval, and monitoring. So this sounds like it's a question from a sponsor. The answer is no. You still need a SIV. It's a separate protocol. You need separate regulatory documents. You need separate training logs. You need separate delegation of authorities log. It's a new study. All right. Sometimes even if it's an extension of a previous study, like a long-term open label extension, most of those times you still need regulatory. You still need SIV. You need a separate contract and budget. Okay. So I know this person is asking me a question that a sponsor is asking them for an answer for. So here's your answer. You're not exempt from the SIV. No. If I could answer it with one emoji, I'll put that. Maybe I'll put my Fitbit just said I hit 10,000 steps. How is that possible? I'm sitting down. I'm moving too much. Okay. Is it possible? Let's go back. Is it possible to land a CRA job with limited or no research experience? As a RN, BSN, yes. It's still unlikely, but you have much better chance than the rest. Now, with a little bit of research experience, like, I don't know, from my CRA Academy, you have a very good chance. Why? Because it's happened numerous times for RN BSNs. TheCRAacademy.com. You gotta look, guys. We build products because we know people need them, and these are things that we needed in the past, or people that we knew that needed them. Naomi, which biotech stocks? The one I'm I'm excited in two. Like, if I had to only pick two, I'm excited in Chem Farm, symbol KMPH, Kevin, Mary, Paul, Henry. And I'm interested in Curative Biotech, CUBT. If I had to pick a third, I'm interested in AZRX. Azure RX is the name of the company. They have 2 GI studies, one GI complications with COVID treatment, and then one immune checkpoint inhibitor. I'm interested in those for that AZRX. In Curative Biotech, I'm interested in the eye drops for repurposed metformin. And for, what was the other one? KMPH. This already approved drugs. I'm just interested in the sales coming through for Astaris. And I'm due for an interview with the CEO, Travis Mickle, in August. So there you go. The same with kids. Yeah, I know. Kids, I think I don't have kids yet. My brother has kids. He tells me that puppies are harder than kids for the first 6 months. Because kids, first 6 months, sleep most of the time. Puppies, first 6 months, they're active. But then, he says, the kids become harder, much harder for the rest of their lives. I have no experience, just what he tells me. Same question as BB, Naomi. So in regards to the RN, it's possible with no research experience, it's unlikely, but still possible. With a little bit of research experience as an RN BSN, definitely. So everybody to this phase 4 question is saying no. Look, Magdalena is saying no like 10,000 times. Look at no. Magdalena, I don't know if your keyboard gets stuck. You put like 10 no's. I love it. Rod Raphael, 100. I love Rod. Penguluri, may I know what would be an appropriate job role in clinical research post PhD in precision medicine, public health, clinical research, having experience as CRC prior to PhD? It depends what you like. I mean, at that level, you could be a medical writer. You can be a chief scientific officer with a startup. You can do a lot of lab research. It depends what you'd like. I mean, you can do anything from academic in the lab to CRO to private industry to sites to sponsor. Anything. That's crazy. Rod says metformin. Yes, Curative Biotechnologies is developing under the 505(b)(2) regulatory pathway repurposed metformin in a eye drop application for degenerative eye disease and a whole bunch of other ophthalmology indications, but I think they're going to go for that one first. I interviewed their CEO as well on my channel. Amazing dude. And full disclosure, after that interview, I bought some stock. Before that interview, I was hesitant. I'm like, this is a penny stock. You never know with these things. After talking to him, I just have a good feeling. Not financial advice. Do your own homework. Naomi's mind blown. Naomi, I know. Iowa CRC for past phase 4. SIV is crucial. Sponsor needs data for safety registry. SIV is supposed to introduce PI and the CRC for what it will need to be collected. Exactly. And there's separate, like you need a separate EDC. You need a separate source documents. I mean, all this stuff, labs. You can't just be exempt from phase 4 because it's post-marketing. Sometimes phase 4 studies don't have 1572s. All right, but as far as SIVs, they all have that. They all need training. They all need platforms to use, so those require training. You can't just not do an SIV. You can do a virtual SIV, yeah. Anyone else? I think we're good. I think this is a good live stream, guys. Thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it. Here's Rod Raphael on LinkedIn. Everybody, if you're not following this man right here or connected with this man, especially other site owners, Rod Raphael is passionate about bringing site owners together. Rod Raphael is the man. Anyone else? Looks like the fourth quarter is about to start. NBA Finals. Again, guys, thank you so much. Make sure you subscribe, like, comment, share. Subscribe, like, comment, share. It helps the algorithm a lot. Please, 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 please. Thank you so much for joining me and being engaged. And looking forward to more live streams with you guys. Let me know if I could ever help. Message me on whatever platform you like. Take care. Have a good evening. Catch y'all later. Bye-bye.